Another type of conditional statement which deals with branches in code is the switch case statement, which is very similar to other programming languages. The structure of the switch case statement is as shown here. The switch takes an expression, and based on the value of the expression, particular case statements are executed. Now, one major difference between the if-else and switch case statements is that if-else conditions and their corresponding blocks of code can work with range of values. For example, we may check for a condition if a variable is greater than, say, 5. But switch case statements work with discrete values. That is, the expression in the switch statement is evaluated to a value, and depending on the value, the corresponding case statement is executed. Let's take an example to show this. Let's write a little function which takes the day of the week as a number and returns that day as a string. Example, it may take 1 as an argument and returns Monday. So let's name this function day of week, and inside this we write the switch case statement. So the switch is on the day parameter, but it could have been an expression which evaluates to a single value. Alright, and then we start another block of code inside which we put case 1, and here we return Monday. Then for case 2 we return Tuesday, and so on. Now let's call this function with a few values and see if it works. What if we pass 9, which is an invalid argument? We may want the method to return invalid day of week or some such string. So if none of the cases match, JavaScript tries to execute the default block. So we can add a default block like this, which can return an error string. Let's run this method with some invalid argument. And of course, this works. When working with switch case statements, you have to be careful about one thing. In fact, many senior programmers recommend not to use the switch case statement if it can be avoided, because whatever we can do with a switch case statement can be done using if-else as well. Anyways, the issue with switch case is that once there is a matching case statement, not only is the corresponding block of code executed, rather all subsequent blocks of code are also executed. Let's change our day of week example in which instead of returning the string, we log the string on the console. Alright. After making this change, let's run this function. And as you can see with day 3, not only does it print Wednesday, but subsequently all other blocks of code are also executed. Of course, we usually don't want this behavior. So we should put break statements within each case block, so that when it executes that corresponding block of code, it also breaks out of the switch statement and doesn't continue executing the subsequent case statements. Alright, so be careful when using switch case statement.